Mrs. Chan, it's an honor to see you here. My name is Brian Lau, and year two journalist student. I have two questions to ask you about
Okay.
about
you
this.
said a bit of one, then it won't echo so much, I think. Yes. Okay.
Okay.
Good.
Forgive my bad English.
No, your English is very good. I encourage you all to practice your English. Okay.
Okay. The first one. People, there are some saying that you didn't fight for Hong Kong's democracy until you are recently going into the Legislative Council, and you didn't care much about the society when you are in the government or when you are in the Legislative Council. So do you consider that you were serving for the people as an government official? Okay. And,
okay. Stop there. Let me answer the first question. Okay. I find it sometimes very surprising that people seem to feel that if you aspire to democratic values, you have to come out and wave the banner or get into the act at a very early age. That's not my view. That's not even being democratic. Democracy means that you practice the values associated with democracy in your everyday life, in the way that you conduct yourself, in the way that you treat people, in the way that you execute your duties. And I can say with a very clear conscience that in my 39 years with the public service, I felt I was serving the people of Hong Kong. I was involved in building some of the major infrastructural projects that Hong Kong badly needed, the international airport. I was directly responsible for deregulating the telecommunications industry, which today gives to you all a wide choice in telecommunication services. I served in the social welfare department, introduced the public assistance scheme on which our social security policies are based. So what are all those? Are those the marks of a dictator? Are those the marks of somebody who doesn't care about the community in which they live? You don't actually have to take to the streets and stand and shout, "I support democracy," in order to be a true Democrat. And furthermore, if I didn't care about democracy, why should I bother, at great risk to my personal reputation, after I stepped down from a nearly 40-year service to join the political fray and to participate in direct elections to the legislature? Democracy is not the sole preserve of any one person. I feel myself as much a Democrat because I think every day of my life I have practiced the values that you associate with somebody who cares about creating a just, open, fair, compassionate society as anybody else in this community, whether you are in politics or not in politics. And at different stages in your life, you do different things. When you are a part of the government, you are not always at liberty to stand up and shout because it is not only your voice that counts. You are part of a collegiate body of many people who collectively administers Hong Kong and tries and do the right thing by the people of Hong Kong. Of course, once you are out of the government, you're no longer bound, for example, by collective decisions, and you will have greater liberty to express your own personal view. So I think you will find that in life you go through different stages, but you cannot be judged just by one single action at one single point in time. You have to look at a person's life over a long span of time. And finally, I reiterate this point. Nobody has a monopoly of democracy. And anybody who cares about democratic values should welcome anybody at any stage in their life who want to stand up and be counted. Next question?
Okay. Thanks for first question. And my second question is that nowadays we know that the pro-democrats in Hong Kong are pretty scattered, and somebody's saying that they are fighting among themselves. So as people widely consider you are quite a spiritual leader of Hong Kong Democrats, what do you think that which side can lead the pro-democrats, or what should they do so to retain their strong state as before?
Yeah. Well, first of all, I don't aspire to be the spiritual leader or indeed to be the leader of the Pan-Democrats. I know that the community wishes to see greater unity in the Pan-Democratic camp. But it's actually not very easy to achieve this unity because they're all individuals. They all have their views about what is the best way forward, and you can see this in the performance even of individual members of the legislature. But at least I like to feel that when there comes to be a very, very big issue, like, say, trying to hammer out a package of proposals that will lay the foundation for genuine universal suffrage in 2017 and 2020, and we're now talking about the interim proposals for 2012, maybe the Pan-Democrats, despite individual differences, may be able to reach a consensus on what is the most viable, practicable package. I think that you cannot force unity when people do not want to be united. And it is only when people see the value of uniting for a common cause that they will actually be willing to come together. I'm not pessimistic. I think one of these days that may come. But political parties in Hong Kong, if you look at its history, it's still relatively very young. I think it's a pity that the government doesn't do more to encourage the development of political parties by considering possible support in terms of resources, by encouraging individuals, particularly young people like yourselves, to see the value of participating in the political process. Because my own view is that in terms of our constitutional development, the only way to go is to develop political parties and to encourage the educated, the professionals, to join political parties. But there's a long way to go in terms of making political life attractive to the masses of the people, because most of us in Hong Kong, we have to earn a living. And at the moment, it's difficult to make a decent living and earn a decent salary simply just by participating as a member of a political party, because you always run the risk of being voted out. So we need to do much more to encourage the development of political parties. The only way that this government is going to be able to govern Hong Kong effectively is to have a pro-government party that will cast a sufficient number of votes in the legislature to enable the government's program, whether it is funding proposals, legislative changes, etc., to vote it through the legislature. At the moment, relying on informal alliances with political parties is never very dependable.
Mrs. Chan, would